Hello, my name is Dan Smith, and this video is about transactions in server-side scripts. And more specifically, it's showing what happens to an open record when that server-side script is aborted by just the abort time limit here. So let's see, what I've got here is a sample file. This is open on my test server, and I've got 3 server schedules set up. Now I'm going to start by running the schedule because it takes a few minutes to run, and while it's running I'm going to walk you through the sample file. So this first one doesn't have any abort set, it's just showing you what happens when the script runs all the way through without being aborted. So that's started, and you can see on the side here that I've got resource monitor up showing the server's resources, and specifically I've selected FileMaker Server and the FileMaker Server script engine. So you can see the CPU here when it's working. Right now the script is still running, but it's probably at the pause step, which is why there's no CPU here. Activity there. And just so you know, this is a virtual machine. The server's running in a virtual machine which doesn't have much else running in it, so everything you see is pretty much from FileMaker Server. Okay, so looking at FileMaker database, this is the script the server just ran, and it saves the start time, creates a log entry, which I'll get into later, creates a new parent. Let's see, actually I'm going to show you the database, the schema real quick. It's very simple. There's a parent and a child table and a log table. Parents related to the child. And is that not opening? There we go. And I have allow creation on. So I'm creating records in the child through a portal. So it starts by creating a parent record. Then in a loop it's creating child records for 3 seconds. Then it pauses for until the script ran for what is it here, 1 minute and 55 seconds. The reason I'm using the timing here is just so that it coincides perfectly with the server script's timeout. So you can see the notes here is I can abort the schedule after 1 minute, or you can abort it after 2 minutes, and you are testing 2 different things. So after creating all the records, it pauses, and it just sits in a pause for a couple minutes, or almost a couple minutes. And if you abort here, that record is still created. There's just a bit of a delay for it to be created. And the same goes on here with this commit step. This commit record step is taking approximately 1.5 minutes, but once that server script is done, we'll be able to see exactly how long it took. And the reason it's taking so long is because I have, I'll just show you, the way I've defined the child ID field is it's a unique ID. Got a unique ID, and it is validated, not empty, and unique. So this unique validation is what's causing it to take so long. If I took this off, then that commit step would run much quicker. So let's see, that's the basic script, and it looks like it's done running. So you can see it created the parent record. There's only one record in the parent table. Created a little over 3,500 child records. And the difference between the created and the modified time, created timestamp is when it was actually created up here in this step, and the modified time is when it was committed and actually saved to the record. And you can see that the committed timestamp is the same for every single child and parent record, whereas the creation timestamp varies. So let's, oh right, the log. So there's another table here, or layout here of the log. And that's just showing you exactly what's going on in the script there. Script start. So it's created records, it's paused for 111 seconds. The pause is complete. That's before the commit and after the commit. So the commit took, what is that? I don't know, about a minute and a half. Now I'm going to go through, go back to the server, and I'm going to run this script that is set to abort at the time limit, and the time limit's 1 minute. So after running for a minute, it's going to abort. And the interesting thing is that, like I said before, the parent and child records are still created. But what's happening is the server is still processing those records after the script has been aborted. So I'm going to keep an eye on this resource monitor here. And the log viewer, I'm going to look at the logs. So it was run now at 50:38. So 51:38, so it's going to be aborted in about 10 seconds here. Okay, so it should have just been aborted. And it was. I'm going to keep an eye on the resource monitor here. And we look here, it says the time limit was exceeded, or the server stopped. While that's running, I'm going to open this up, see if we can get them both showing. And you can see that right now, there's only one record in the parent table. In the log, it shows that, let's see here, after command start script. So here it started the script, created the parent record, created 4,100 some child records, then it paused for a while, and then the server aborted the schedule. And now you can see back here, for some reason, maybe it's after the pause, I'm not sure what's happening, the server suddenly kicks in and starts processing those records. And what it's calculating right now is probably that validation step, checking for the ID to be unique, or the ID in the child table to be unique. And once this is done processing, once that peak drops off, we're going to be able to go in here and see that there's going to be a second parent record with all the childs. I suppose the commit step before took about a minute and a half, so this should probably take about a minute and a half. Probably going to be boring, but I'll just let the video run so we can get the time from that if nothing else. And let's see. While we're waiting here. So without a doubt, this does show that the time limit was exceeded. The log viewer, if we refresh it, it shows that this script was aborted a couple minutes ago now, and the server's still running. And another thing, you can look at the clients and see, I just missed it. If I'd gone there a second earlier, we would have seen that the server was still listed as a client. So now we go back to FileMaker, and there's a second record. And the modification timestamp would have been the server time, 54. So that record was created after the script was aborted. Actually, I don't think I need that anymore. And the log entries, I guess nothing was created since the script was aborted, but just the parent and child records were. And the same thing happens if we go, let's see what am I doing, if we go to run this script that aborts after 2 minutes, and the one that's aborting after 2 minutes happens after the pause and in the middle of the commit record step. So I'm going to run that one. That one's running. Viewer refresh. Show it's run now at 55:19. So at 57:19, the script is going to end, and then I'm not quite sure how long it takes till the server starts committing that record, but the server's going to kick in, start validating all those IDs, and then commit the record and create it after the script's been aborted. Alright. This one's boring. I'm going to pause the video while it's processing. Okay, so the server's just about to abort the schedule. Should be at 19 seconds here. So it should have just aborted. I'll refresh. Time limit exceeded. It says it's aborted. It looks like it's already processing those records. And if we go into clients here, client version, server, the username is the name of the schedule. So that script, that client that was created to run that script is still processing records right now, even though you look at the schedule and it says time limit exceeded. And you look at the log viewer and it shows that it was aborted. Here it was run, 2 minutes later it was aborted, and it's processing records. I'm just going to wait till this server's done and show you the third record it's created. I'll pause it until then. Oh, I know it's just done. So now we've got 3 records, and there we go. So my conclusion as to why I think this is happening is that when the server aborts the schedule, I'm assuming it's basically just closing the file, which is running, closing the window, and when you close the window, it automatically performs the commit record step. So that's my assumption as to what's going on. The problem that this causes is any transaction that's in the middle of processing, when the server aborts the schedule, that transaction is it's processed. It's those records end up being created, even though you went through the steps to make your whole script transactional and not create records until you explicitly run the commit step. But if the server happens to abort the schedule, and then when that's going on, then the record's going to be created anyways.